I received my first phone at the age of 12. It was the greatest tool ever. I could call people from it, and now had the power to be better connected with people all because of my new Samsung G720 military, weatherproof, waterproof, indestructible phone, the exact same as my dad's. The technology amazed me. Eventually, when I was 14, I was upgraded to the iPhone 4S. This blew my mind. It had just about everything but the buttons. There was a calculator, contacts list, and text. At least this is all I could ever figure out how to use the thing for. About 5 months after I had my 4S, iPhone came out with the iPhone 5. This was my first experience with obsoletism, a term that does not have a definition. The Samsung phone I had, if I wanted to go back to that phone, it would be next to impossible to do. Service providers stopped supplying cell service to that style of phone. This change is one example of obsoletism, a condition of making something obsolete. We must understand that obsoletism has a huge impact on businesses and consumers. The definition of obsoletism will be looked at through technology, automotive, and housing industries. There is one company that is the most transparent with obsoletism, the Apple company. Apple has such an influence that they have over 588 million users worldwide. That's a lot of support. The company is one of only a few that benefit both the business and consumer that utilizes obsoletism. According to Pascal Golby on Business Insider, Apple uses advanced supply chain to produce and market their advanced technology. The products they produce are very expensive, and buildings needed to produce them are more expensive. How they combat the expenses is through using a hoard of money to add machines to factories in turn for exclusive rights of the products produced. After a set amount of time, usually 6 to 36 months, they will have the rights for a discounted price. When they do this, they gain two advantages. Colby reveals the advantages to their access to new technology and the ability to stay ahead and soon supply the resources to other companies. One can infer that Apple is not a technology company, but a parts company. This relates to obsoletism by only having a product out as long as they have exclusive rights to the components. When they get the parts later at a discounted price, Apple already is on the next production of the new product. This is how they are able to limit costs. This gives some advantages and disadvantages to the consumer. Advantages are that Apple users and supporters are able to get the newest tech advances before Apple's competitors. However, they will only get it for a short time until it's cheaper for Apple to design new products and tech. Another disadvantage is that the consumer is not buying a premium product for Apple's high costs. Just another piece of technology that has the newest components. Apple's exclusive rights to the newest components allows them to have leverage on other companies' input costs and rights. The aluminum casing on some HP products are created by Apple's aluminum mills. However, they are limited on thickness so as to keep the Apple's MacBook in the top as the thinnest, lightest, most durable computers. Apple's practice of obsoletism is made in part by staying ahead of the game. Apple gets its support in the newest product demand by making their older products obsolete, though only allowing older tech to upgrade to a limited iOS software and software that makes battery life last shorter. These small differences aid in the demand for new tech. Obsoletism benefits Apple by driving consumer demand in their favor to continue the flow of futuristic technologies. As the condition of making products seem obsolete works for Apple, a different approach is seen in the automotive industry, particularly Ford. Unlike a $1,000 phone, an automobile can be up to 100 to 200 times the amount. The average household brings in $30,000. In that between bills and food and taxes, a consumer can easily save enough money to get a $1,000 phone in a couple of months. Vehicles can take up to 7 years of putting money away to get one. This prolongs the process by 7 years, and the condition of making products obsolete soon takes a toll. In 2008, Detroit's bailout included companies such as GM, Chrysler, and Ford. Prior Massachusetts governor and presidential nominee Mitt Romney to New York Times wrote, "Without that bailout, Detroit will need to drastically reconstruct itself. With it, the automakers will stay the course. The suicidal course of declining market shares, insurmountable labor and retiree burdens, technology atrophy, product inferiority, and never-ending job losses. Detroit needs a turnabout, not a check." Mitt Romney knew that all a check would do is prolong the loss of car manufacturers. He also knew that the big three Detroit motor companies have a fierce competition market with foreign makes. Foreign vehicles are produced much more cheaply than American and can have features offered far cheaper to the consumer. Ford easily has the most obsoletism on the market. Since 2005, features such as manual transmissions, workman-class stripped vehicles, and carbureted vehicles have become obsolete. According to Matthew DeBoard, Ford CEO Jim Hackett will admit to it. He plans on reinventing Ford by moving SUV and truck manufacturing plants overseas to lower cost and specializing the company in the Ford Taurus and Focus. By doing this, Ford is hoping to lower costs far enough to be competitive with the foreign market. This also opens the gateway for Ford to focus on improving their products to meet 21st century visions of cars that can gather data, talk to each other, drive themselves, and so forth. Building a smarter car, really. Ford plans on using the condition of making old obsolete in hopes of rising back to the top. To the consumer, this means less and less options for the automotive buyer will come into play. Prices for transportation will rise, and options limited to the truck, SUV, Taurus, and Focus. The obsoletism demonstrated by Ford is in hopes of saving a company. In doing so, may lose an entire consumer market. An industry that has been greatly impacted by obsoletism is housing. One of the biggest purchases and investments a human can buy. These resources can take years upon years to gather the funds to pay for them. In 2014, there were about 2.3 million homes for sale. Today, there are even more. The increase in amount of homes is an account of housing obsoletism. When a house is first made, it has all the parts of what was considered top of the line, floor plans as ideal, and architecture that fit that day and time. A highly unique, one-of-a-kind house is what you get. This slims the buyer's market dramatically. On top of that, land prices are continually on the rise. The price of land has quadrupled in the last 25 years. Within the housing market, the obsoletism of certain desirable amenities affects the demand on housing. Mamta Bakar in Business Insider makes the comparison of house time on market to the existing house inventory. The more houses open for sale, the quicker the buy. The less houses for sale, the longer the house is on market. The real estate industry always has battle on consumer demand unless option of renovation is fully apparent. The consumer is greatly affected by housing becoming outdated due to the condition of products becoming obsolete. They lose the ability to find exactly what they are looking for and what the consumer looks to sell the house they bought. It requires money going in to renovate it, again, to be easier sold. The largest ticket item in industry shows obsoletism to the highest degree and is the most impactful to both the consumer and the business. Obsoletism greatly impacts both the business and the consumer. We define the condition of making products obsolete with the technology, automotive, and housing industries. The application of obsoletism can greatly make a consumer think twice about what they are buying and know that soon their product may not be worth anything, just like the Samsung phone I had when I was 12. Thank you.